feature. We're a bit late on this one. Apologies for that. We've had a busy weekend and all that good stuff. So apologies it's out late, but hey, better late than never. But let's just jump straight into it. I won't waste any time today. So Sheffield Wednesday versus P&E. We won 1-0 at Hillsborough. And I'll break it down for you now. So they had 8 shots. We had 5. 3 of those on target. 2 of ours on target. Saying that the 3 that they had on target weren't exactly any to challenge Woodman. So not exactly like they were a threat. But they had a bit more possession than we did. Even though it didn't really matter because they didn't make too much of it. We didn't have any offsides for a change. They had 4. Which were all very obvious offsides. Their game plan was quite obvious from the get-go, really. They seemed to be wanting to push us quite deep and then just break through our defence with a high ball over the top, but that often caught themselves offside, so it didn't seem to work for them too well. Right, we'll move over to player ratings now, which we're now moving over to the Evening Post, the Lancashire Post for, because George Hodgson now works for Lancashire Post, in terms of reporting P&E and not Lancashire Live anymore, so congratulations to him on that. And thank you again for providing this content for me to read to the lovely people. So Woodman a 7, distribution hit and miss in the first half, but was on hand to keep out Gregory, first clean sheet of the season in the bag. Story a 7, steady defensively and looked to push on down the right and combine. Lindsay an 8, solid shift, a bullet of a diving header to send North End into the lead on the way to 3 points. Hughes a 7, some key first half blocks in quick succession. That's pretty much it really. Hughes pots an 8, man of the match for me personally. Started positively after an impressive performance last week, so an early volley saved well, and his decision making in the end, in and out of possession was sharp. Ran himself into the ground as always. Letson a 7, battled away in the engine room, tackling and intercepting. Looked to play forward when he got on the ball, but didn't do it all too well at times. Brown an 8, dropped into a deeper role alongside Ledo and put in another impressive performance. Swung some inviting set pieces in and won the battle in midfield, which is good to see. It's nice to see that prime Alan Brown is sort of showing in places. So if we can get Alan Brown back to his best, then that is going to be fantastic for us. Best an 8, created 2 first half chances with crosses from the left and then provided a glorious assist for the opener. Hard in the tackle, courageous on the ball. Holmes a 6, blue, hot and cold, was always looking to provide a spark and pick up dangerous pockets of space in and around the box. Shoots quite well, even though for the most part it was a bit of an off shift for him. Mads a 6, sloppy first half moments but worked hard off the ball when his team needed him to track back, didn't find the space or see as much of the ball as he would have liked. Keane a 6, constantly busy up there as a lone striker, even if the breaks weren't always coming. Had a couple of chances first half and was relentless in his work rate. And Bambo, for the love of Christ, the RB would not leave Will Keane. It's almost as if his instruction was to not let Will Keane see the ball. Woodburn a 6, added some fresh legs for the last 20 minutes. Watmore a 6, slotted in back line and saw the win over. Couple important interceptions. Mawani a 6, his second senior appearance, blocked Barry Bannon, shot well and carried the ball down the right to get P&E up the pitch a bit. Which is good, because that's what the first team doesn't do enough, I don't think. Some little notes that I've made is that, as a whole, we didn't exactly play fantastically, as many people say. It's an ideal away performance, but in terms of a performance full stop, especially given the team we went up against and how very weak they are at the moment, I feel like it's a game we could have got more out of, but then again, we could have been 2-0 in the first half, provided those chances didn't go begging, so it is what it is, really. Wednesday were very poor, very great set piece that led to the goal. Bambo still seems to be struggling, even at his new club. We'll move on to this little tidbit of news, which is unrelated to the game, but I thought I'd cover it. Is that the Derry Sherhunt profiled as Preston North End linked with Hertha Berlin striker. Derry Sherhunt, or however you say it, I'm just going to call him Derry. Is one striker being linked to P&E as the Lily Whites consider alternatives to Tom Cannon. The Everton striker is our number 1 target, with manager Ryan Law keen to reunite with the forward on loan after last season's spell, but with 10 days left in the window, which is now ticking down to about 8 or 7, North End are having to look somewhere in case of a move that Cannon does not appear. Footballer Insider suggests that Preston, along with Blackburn and QPR, are eyeing Derry on loan. It's claimed that Burnley also inquire about the player's availability. The 20-year-old made 10 appearances for Hertha Berlin last season, but he predominantly featured in the club's second team. Derry has scored 3 goals this season, having netted 8 last term and 16 in the campaign before that. So he seems quite proficient. The team are at the bottom of 2 Bundesliga, having lost all 3 games so far this season. The striker is under contract until 27 with the German side, whom he signed for in 2020. The Berlin forward was linked with Newcastle in June. North End have already explored the European market this summer with Mads in from Danish side Odense BK, and P&E boss Ryan Law said last week that they are highly likely to loan someone in as opposed to permanently. If there's someone out there who we feel can purchase at the right price who fits the bill, then we'll have a look. If not, it will be a loan. The likelihood of it being a loan is very high because of financial implications you have, but if something comes up or something somewhat available on a free, we'll have a look. So basically, we've done all our permanent signing now, and anyone else we bring through to the building will be loans, which is expected, but it's good because we've had a lot of permanent so far. In terms of contracts as well, Ben Whiteman contract at the back of our mind, as he's coming up to the end of it. Preston North End manager is not thinking about Ben Whiteman's contract right now. The crucial midfielder is in the final years of his time at Deepdale, having been in North End play since January 21. Whiteman had a hernia operation in July and has not been seen on the pitch since, with him playing no point pre-season and still working his way back. Whiteman's return will be a huge boost for the PNE boss, who was also without Brady, Reece Evans, Leighton Stewart, Calvin Ramsey and Ali McCann at Hillsborough last time out. PNE's number 4 was linked with Fulham and Watford last summer, having established himself as an excellent midfielder. North End saw DJ leave the club on a free transfer upon the expiry of his contract. PNE want to avoid a similar situation unfolding with Whiteman, who cost the club $1.8 million 2 years ago. So Brian Law says, that's the least of my worry really. There's a load of contracted lads coming to the final year. It'll be a case of working hard and earning a new contract. Ben is not thinking about that now, nor am I. Ben's motive is to get fit and get him back into the team. Once he does that, everything takes care of itself. I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. We need players signing new contracts rather than players who are already contracted to us at this moment in time. So our focus is on getting a couple of players through the door, and then whether it's Christmas or January time, we'll sit down with the ones who will potentially earn one, and hopefully they can. He added, there's been no interest in any of our players or senior pros unless that changes again. Something might be on the radar, the lads who are not playing. There's been interest in the younger pros, so we'll get some game time to go out and play. They'll get all parties through, they can't go yet until we are ready. So that's just a clear bit of transfer speculation. And about McCann being absent from the Sheffield Wednesday game, I believe that he's injured. It was only a precaution, however. The Northern Ireland international was withdrawn after 76 minutes in the previous encounter with Sunderland. He was then missing at Hillsborough, with manager Ryan Law bringing in Juan Holmes for his first championship start instead. North End's bench against the Owls was very young, with Norman Wennick, Ian Taylor, Lewis Lee and Philip Rodriguez Gentile named as substitute. McCann joined Brady, Reece Evans, Whiteman and Leighton Stewart and Calvin Ramsey on the sidelines. So number 13's issue was not major, but enough for Law to opt him out. He's okay, he's just took a whack on his hamstring. We weren't going to risk him because we don't want to lose him for too long. He was actually out running on the grass on Friday, but there was no point in risking him. If we'd have risked him, it could have been worse. That's understandable. But yeah, you can tell when McCann's not playing. No, McCann's not a party. We just dropped Brownie down one and pushed Duane in because we felt Duane needed an opportunity. Anyways, I always say his name wrong. It sounds like Duane, but then, or Duan, but I believe it's Duane. He got 70 odd minutes in his tank, so yeah, again, can't do anything about it. With injuries and stuff like that, it is what it is. Can only deal with it. What I've got on the pitch, the lads who went out and performed were fantastic. So yeah, that's pretty good. Law mentioned his decision to drag Alan Brown into a more central role along with Ledson, with Holmes playing in the advanced midfield next to Mads. PNE captain on the day was impressive, and the start to the season continues to please Law. Yeah, fantastic, and that's what we want. We want to lead by example, and that's certainly what he's doing, so long may that continue, using the captain's role to his advantage. And in terms of other injury news as well that I've not got a page for, is that Calvin Ramsey is staying at the club, despite rumours saying he's going back to Liverpool for some reason, and that it's just an injury that will keep him out for a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, everything's all fine and dandy. So yeah, I believe that is everything that I need to cover. It was a decent performance, but it is what it is. So next up we have Swansea at home at the weekend, so keep an eye out for that one. I will be featuring on the Real Jack Army once again with my thoughts on the Swansea game, so keep your eyes peeled for that on his channel. And until then, I will see you in the next one. Take care and skedaddles.